We're going to start off with a game in the Northwestern 3A, 4A conference today. We're going to start with St. Stephen's at 1-3 overall, traveling to Boone to take on 3-1 Watauga. Now, these two teams have played each of the last couple of years, and the games have been close. St. Stephen's is looking to bounce back after last week's heartbreaking 27-24 loss to Alexander Central. In the last 2 weeks, St. Stephen's has not lost by no more than 8 points and has been relatively close all year long, but once in a 28-6 loss to Bandy's. Now they'll be looking to get their second win and to open Northwest 3A, 4A conference play as they take on Watauga. The other game we're going to be talking about is Maiden and Bunker Hill. The Blue Devils are licking their wounds after a 28-21 loss at home to South Caldwell. It was their first loss to a 4A school since losing to East Burke back in 2007. The Blue Devils will face Bunker Hill in the Southern District 7 conference opener. And the Blue Devils have not lost to Bunker Hill since my counterpart, Zach Hansley's father, Scott, was actually in high school back in 1989. Hard to believe it's been that long since the Bears have pulled an upset over the Blue Devils. The Bears head to Maiden to look for the upset. However, don't expect them to find it there. Maiden is coming off a terrible loss. Bunker Hill can't seem to stop anybody, and they're still scoring 40 or 50 points a game. Unbelievable. Our other game we're going to be looking at is Fred T. Ford traveling to Morganton to take on Freedom. Now, Fred T. Ford has won 2 games this year. Can anybody name the last time Fred T. Ford won 2 games in a regular season? How about when Ryan Geddes was the head football coach back in 2008? That senior-laden team that went to the playoffs, won 9 games. Well, Tom Harper's now the head football coach there, and he has Fred T. Ford playing good football. But they head to Morganton this week to play Freedom, and they're undefeated. Tough game for a Tigers team looking to rebuild and to gain some experience in a very, very tough conference. The other game we're going to be talking about is a battle of Caldwell County, 2 schools that don't like each other. Yes, I'm talking about South Caldwell and High Brighton. And the game, of course, is at South Caldwell. The Spartans are coming off a win over Maiden last weekend, 28-21. High Brighton is still unbeaten. This was a team that everybody in the area said to watch out for because they had a slew of experienced players returning. High Brighton is a good football team. They've even scored 60 points once this year, but they won't do it against South Caldwell, and this is a fierce Caldwell County rivalry. South Caldwell has a very good defense, and High Brighton can seem to score. Expect this to be a very entertaining game, and if you don't have a game to go to, and if you live anywhere near either of the 2 schools, highly recommend that football game because it is packed, and it is always a very good game to watch. The other game is Hickory and Patton, a battle of 2 1-2 schools. Hickory returns home and looks to even its record up at 500. And by the way, if you're Hickory, you might not want to play anybody in Iredell County for the rest of the year. It has not been pretty for the Hickory High Red Tornadoes. They have not fared well against teams from Iredell County. Hint, hint, Statesville, South Iredell, Mooresville, need to say any more? I don't think so. Hickory looks to even its record, and I think they'll do so this weekend once they get a win over Patton. But don't be surprised if the Panthers pull an upset. They are a very quick and athletic football team. The other game we're going to be looking at is Newton Conover traveling to West Caldwell. The Warriors have even won 2 games this year. West Caldwell winning 2 games. Can't remember the last time that's actually happened, but West Caldwell is improving. Unfortunately, their Southern District 7 conference opener is against undefeated Newton Conover. Well, I should say 3-0-1 Newton Conover. The Red Devils are averaging between 40 to 50 points. Someone think West Caldwell is going to slow Newton Conover down? Not going to happen this week. Newton Conover has this game on its mind, and then it's off to the big one. Now, our feature game is going to be Bandy's and East Lincoln. Bandy's travels up Highway 16 over by the lake to take on its conference rivals in its conference opener. Now, Bandy's is 3-1 overall. They're 1-1 on the road. As for East Lincoln, they're 4-0 overall, and they're undefeated at home. Now, last year during the regular season, these 2 teams met at Bandy's High School. The game was actually competitive up until about the end of the 3rd quarter, somewhere in the midst of the 4th quarter before East Lincoln pulled away. Little do you these two teams know, that they would meet again in the playoffs in the opening round. The Trojans had just barely gotten in with an overall record of 5-6, and East Lincoln, well, after having to forfeit almost half of its games, would come back to win the Southern District 7 Conference Championship. But little did anybody know that this would nearly be an upset, as in the pouring down rain, Bandy's nearly pulled off an upset which would have set the stage for something that had never happened before. Bandy's and Maiden in the state playoffs. But although it never did happen, this game will. And on Friday, East Lincoln will improve its regular season record to 5-0. So what kind of chance does Bandy's have? A pretty good chance. This game will be close and it will be competitive. So who am I picking to win? Well, it's a given. I'm going with East Lincoln. They're ranked in the Charlotte Observer Sweet 16 poll, and they have some guy named Chaz Surratt playing quarterback and a cast of really good athletes surrounding him. So this East Lincoln football team is pretty good. Bandy's always playing well behind quarterback Devin Cox and a team that wasn't supposed to do well that, well, is doing well. The Trojans will lose this game, but they will gain insightful experience as they head into the Southern District 7 Conference. Who am I picking once again? East Lincoln. Final score? We'll say 35-21 in favor of East Lincoln. That's all the games that we have for this week of the Catawba Valley Blitz. My partner Zach hopefully will return next weekend, and why wouldn't he? It's Newton Conover and Maiden, and that's the big game we're going to be talking about. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Follow us in the parking lot. Hey, go on to Facebook, like us on Facebook if you want to. You can also find us on Instagram or check out our website at www.catawbavalleyblitz.com.